Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. Today is Wednesday, November 9th, 2016. Tune into the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest calling numbers 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you this quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective on this channel. We don't engage in any social issues, controversy, nor do we participate in any bickering or drama. This is an educational channel, so we keep everything positive. We welcome input. If you have a business that you would like me to discuss or a topic, whether it's on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. I enjoy comments. You leave a comment, leave it in the comment section. Make sure your comments are pithy, no pettifogging or bloviating if you wish to opine. Now on to this morning's topic, election results of the 2016 presidential race. First, I'd like to give a shout out to both candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. It was a hard-fought campaign. Politics is a blood sport. This election meant a lot of things to many people. But what happened in the election? Here's my belief. Let's talk about the polls. The polls had everything leaning toward Hillary Clinton. The problem I have with any polls is polls have a little bias built into them. Looked like most of the polls that were from MSNBC and all the other ABC channels, such as CBS, CNN, they were all leaning toward Clinton. Now, I believe that was used to try to distract Republican voters from coming out. And sometimes when networks project the state for a candidate, they must forget that states in different time zones. This is what happened in Florida in 2004. Remember, part of Florida sits in a panhandle. That's Panama City, down in that area, Tallahassee. They're in the central time zone. So you have to look at the elections. This is what's happening right now with Alaska. That's why that hasn't been called yet, but the Republican is winning in that. But I digress. The reason why Trump pulled out this victory is because of the strategy. Most of the time, Republicans, they don't get people out to vote. Look at Romney. 3 million people sat home. The Democrats had a better strategy. They got the boots on the ground. They were knocking on doors. They were getting people out to vote, registering people to vote. The Republicans did the same thing. States that I would not in a million years become Republican wins, I'm talking about Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Ohio, it can go back and forth. Florida, it's going back and forth. But Ohio and Pennsylvania, they won it for Donald Trump. Now, it used to be that those states in the past were Republican states. Now, we have a changing demographic in this country because one of the things that I kept hearing with Florida is the Latino vote, the Latino vote, the Latino vote. Let me tell you something. Latinos they're not like black people. Most black people, although the Democrats don't do anything for them, will continue to vote Democrat. Latinos are a little different, particularly your Cubans. Now, you might have some of your Dominicans and Puerto Ricans vote Democrat, but your Cubans, no, they vote Republican. They're business people. And also your Mexicans, some of them might vote Republican. But generally, for the most part, Latinos did listen to the message. They came out to vote. What happened, there's just a little bit more individuals, particularly the panhandle of Florida, that people forgot about, your working class, that helped Trump win Florida because he only won by a percentage point. Some races still going on. You have a runoff with the senators on a senatorial race in Louisiana. The Republican is winning. And the reason why you have a runoff because either candidate obtained 50%. There's also a race too close to call in New Hampshire. Hillary did win New Hampshire. Michigan is too close to call. Yes, Donald Trump has 274 electoral college votes. He could actually get 30 more electoral college votes because he's also winning in Arizona and Alaska. If he wins those 3 states, he will have 304 electoral college votes, but you only need 270. The reason why all this is significant is because the states that Donald Trump won, a number of the senatorial candidates won. And what happened is also the Republicans were divided, but I believe some of them came home and voted for Trump, particularly Pat Toomey. He won his senatorial campaign in Pennsylvania. And when you come together as a party, that can help you a lot. See, the Democrats, they always stuck together, win or lose. Now, what happened yesterday, I believe that it was the elites or the Beltway crowd versus the outsiders. And that's why Trump won. Because a lot of the Beltway elites, your academic elites, who were making a lot of money off the taxpayers, really didn't care about outsiders. When Hillary used the term deplorable, she was calling everybody who was probably a gun-toting conservative, she was saying that they weren't smart. Or they're very smart as well. They just live a different type of lifestyle. The problem with, if you look at the map, I call it the left coast. Well, that's Hollywood. And the northeast, that's Harvard, Yale, and it's Washington, D.C. So those are so-called elites, and they were driving the rhetoric in this country. But at the end of the day, Americans who were in the Midwest and South got tired of that nonsense, and they went out to vote, and they voted for Trump. And a number of them were independents because there were a lot of people on the fence. And Donald Trump had to go through the Republicans not liking him because John Kasich, he supported Hillary Clinton. The Democrats didn't like him. The media didn't like him. But at the end of the day, the strategy is it's just about getting out the vote. And also the Republicans winning some of the senatorial seats. Now, they lost one, and that was in Illinois. But Illinois is not a shocker. It always goes liberal. Illinois and Minnesota. But at the end of the day, the strategy was to get out and vote. And that's what Republicans did. Say what you want about Mr. Trump. Any other Republican would not have pulled off Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. I don't believe so. Those are what we call the swing states. And when he pulled off those states, Hillary, in order for her to win, had to run the table. And when I looked at the map, she couldn't do it. The math didn't figure it out. So is she going to run again? I don't know. But I do congratulate her. It was a tough campaign on both fronts. And if you really want to know more about politics, take a class. A lot of us don't understand how the system works. Thank goodness that I do. Because there's some states like Nebraska and Maine. Because if you look at the map, Donald Trump got one electoral college vote. Why did he get that electoral college vote in Maine? Okay, Maine and Nebraska aren't winner-take-all states. You have congressional districts in both of those states. So just because the president wins, the president is not going to get all 4 or 5 electoral college votes. If congressional caucus wins in Nebraska or Maine, and they lose the presidential popular vote, well, in Maine, the Republican candidate will get one electoral college vote, and the Democratic presidential candidate will get 3. Let me say that again. In a no-win or a winner-takes-all state, generally the person with the most popular vote wins the electoral college votes. In a non-winner-takes-all state like Maine, the presidential candidate may win the popular vote. Let's say you have 4, they'll get 3. Now, if the congressional district of their party in that state wins, then they'll get all 4. But if it doesn't, then the other party is going to get 1 vote. And that's what happened. That's how that went from 274 to 275. And also the polls. They were all over the place. Yahoo had Donald Trump at 238, 244, and 276. And this is why I was telling everybody, don't go with the polls. Matt Drudge had a lot of sources on what was going on. And, I have his Twitter address, so I was getting information from him about what was going on. And I said, okay, I know what's going to happen. Because once he won Pennsylvania, once he won Ohio, once he won Florida, those swing states, I knew it was over. Now, did I endorse Donald Trump? No. Did I endorse Hillary? No. But at the end of the day, the strategy for Donald Trump was, number 1, to get out the vote, and number 2, win those swing states. Because everybody in the media said Donald Trump had a hard road to climb in order to be successful. And he did. But he made it count. And besides the presidential race, again, it was a good night for the Republicans because they maintained the House and Senate seats, which is huge. Because now they can go ahead and get a Supreme Court nominee. They can go ahead and repeal Obamacare and all these executive orders that Obama has established. This is government. It's how it works. It's representative government. Right now, I've seen in Electoral College that Hillary has a slight edge, but again, it's the Electoral College, the popular vote. Hillary has a slight edge, but it's not the popular vote. It's the Electoral College. There are a few states. Michigan is too close to call. Alaska, with 3 Electoral College votes, it's leaning toward Trump. I also believe Arizona, with 11 Electoral College votes, is also leaning toward Trump. They haven't been called yet. Senate races. One up in New Hampshire, still tied, too close to call, from an incumbent Republican and a challenger. Also, December 10th, there'll be a runoff election in Louisiana, and that's because the candidates must obtain 50%. And this is what a lot of individuals don't understand in politics. I read, and this is why I'm giving you this knowledge. And when you go vote, look at everything. Not just the president. We had a gubernatorial race here in Indiana. Of course, the Senate seat was won by Todd Young. Eric Holcomb, he was the lieutenant governor, which Mike Pence was the governor. He's now the vice presidential elect for Donald Trump. So we had other races. But at the end of the day, so I won't waste too much time and go off topic. Donald Trump won because he had a strategy to break that blue wall. In other words, those blue states. He did. And that's why he's the president-elect. Say what you want about the process. It's been here for 100 years. And it's going to continue to be here. Shout out to both candidates in a hard-fought campaign. And once again, the voters came out to vote, America spoke, and we got the government that we deserve. And that's this commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful with each other, and have a wonderful and blessed day.